FedNor funds will help the business adapt and respond to shifting market conditions in the forestry industry of Northern Ontario for generations. The forestry industry has been the backbone of Northern Ontario, driving opportunity and growth in our communities. Today, as global trade shifts anew, as winter approaches and temperatures fall, Russia's renewed attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure threaten to leave millions of people without electricity, water, and heat. Canada remains steadfast in providing support to Ukraine's efforts to rebuild and strengthen the resilience of its energy. Today, Canada's Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, Tim Hodgson, met with Germany's Federal Minister for Economic Affairs and Energy, Katrina Reich, at the G7 Energy and Environment Ministers meeting in Toronto, Ontario. The meeting follows the successful mission to Germany led by Prime Minister. The Canada Border Services Agency and Royal Canadian Mounted Police are securing our borders by collaborating on investigations to prevent illegal drug smuggling and organized crime. During the examination, Border Services officers discovered 4 wood crates filled with suspected cannabis. Atota. Canadians are encouraged to talk about money this November during the 15th Annual Financial Literacy Month, led by the Financial Consumer Agency of Canada. This year's theme, Talk Money, builds on the momentum of last year's campaign to help break the silence around personal finances. Research SH. The Competition Bureau is inviting Canadians to provide comments on its proposed anti-competitive conduct and agreements enforcement guidelines. Following significant changes to the Competition Act between 2022 and 2025, the Bureau is updating its guidelines to help businesses comply with the law. The Honourable David McGuinty, Minister of National Defence, will travel to the Philippines from October 31 to November 2 to strengthen defence relations with one of Canada's most important defence partners in the Indo-Pacific region. Yesterday, the Honourable Maninder Sidhu, Minister of International Trade, met with Han Koo-yeo, the Republic of Korea's Minister of Trade, at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Ministerial meeting in Korea. As our 8th largest trading partner, Canada looks forward to continue growing our com. This was announced by Alana Hurdle, Member of Parliament for Cumberland, Colchester, and Tim Bernard, Executive Director of the Mi'kmaq Cultural Centre. The Mi'kmaq Cultural Centre will offer community and public educational programming including workshops, language and storytelling. Today, Maggie Chi, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Health, on behalf of the Honourable Marjorie Michel, Minister of Health, announced more than $19 million from the Emergency Treatment Fund for 21 projects across Ontario, and more than $17 million for 13 projects across Ontario under the. Members of the media are invited to speak with individual Canadian Armed Forces members selected as participants in this year's Remembrance Day Century program. 11 Canadian Armed Forces members and 1 officer of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police received the distinction of being selected from a. Today, Minister Hodgson met with Australia's Minister for Resources, Madeleine King, at the G7 Energy and Environment Ministers meeting in Toronto, Ontario. Minister Hodgson thanked Minister King for Australia's vital partnership in the G7 Critical Minerals Action Plan. Both ministers reaffirmed Th. Toronto, on October 30 to 31, 2025, the Honourable Tim Hodgson, Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, will co-host the G7 Energy and Environment Ministers meeting in Toronto with the Honourable Julie Debrusson, Minister of Environment and Climate Change. EMM events are only open to media present. The Correctional Service of Canada immediately contacted the St. Rose du Lac detachment of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and a warrant has been issued for their arrest. Clifford Lamirand is 33 years old, measures 180 centimeters in height and weighs 105 kilograms. He has a medium complexion, brown eyes and. Today, Canada's Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, Tim Hodgson, met with the European Commissioner for Energy and Housing, Dan Jorgensen during the G7 Energy and Environment Ministers meeting in Toronto, Ontario. Minister Hodgson and Commissioner Jorgensen reaffirmed their shared commitment. Today, Canada's Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, Tim Hodgson, and France's Minister of Economy, Finance, and industrial, energy, and digital sovereignty Roland Lescure, met at the G7 Energy and Environment Ministers meeting in Toronto, Ontario. They underscored their shared commitment to E. Today, and Kelly, the Commissioner of the Correctional Service of Canada, issued the following statement: I welcome the Office of the Correctional Investigator's 52 ND Annual Report. Building on our response to last year's OCI report, this year's response outlines several key actions and initiati. Hurricane Melissa has severely affected the Caribbean region, causing loss of life, as well as damage to homes and infrastructure, impacting local communities and economies. Today, the Honourable Randeep Sarai, Secretary of State, announced $7 million in funding for humanitarian assistance to SUPO. The contraband and unauthorized items seized included tobacco and marijuana, as well as 2 cell phones. The total estimated institutional value of these seizures is $188,500. The Correctional Service of Canada has heightened measures to prevent contraband from entering its institutions in order to. The correctional investigator plays a vital role in Canada's correctional system. His annual report offers important insights and recommendations to help ensure that federal corrections remain safe, humane, and accountable for inmates, staff, and the broader community. The Government of Canada has Ottawa, Ontario. In a rapidly changing and uncertain world, the Government of Canada is focused on protecting communities and the country, building the economy with major projects and millions of additional homes, and empowering Canadians with lower costs and new opportunities that will help people. The Canada Border Services Agency and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police are committed to protecting our communities and disrupting organized crime by stopping the flow of precursor chemicals used to manufacture fentanyl and other illicit drugs. Today, the CBSA and the RCMP announced the seizure of Check Against Delivery. Good afternoon, everyone. Bonjour. I acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee and the Wendat peoples, that is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit and Métis peoples. Time 9:00 a.m. EDT. Location: Sandalwood Transit Facility 130 Sandalwood Parkway, W. Brampton, on L7A1N2 RSVP. For any media planning to attend, please contact Mohammed.Kamal at tbssct.gc.can media-medias@inf.gc.cato. Confirm. These measures build on measures already taken, including cancelling the consumer carbon tax, cutting taxes for 22 million middle-class Canadians and eliminating GST for first-time homebuyers. The Government of Canada is focused on empowering Canadians with lower costs and new opportunities to help Ottawa, Ontario. On October 29, Fisheries and Oceans Canada scientists presented a comprehensive update of the latest scientific knowledge of North Atlantic right whales and their potential for recovery to stakeholders and interested Canadians. This review was conducted by DFO as part of a recovery P.S. Rockeford and guest speakers will be available to answer questions from the media following the announcement. Time 11:00 a.m. Location: Cap Paper, Cafeteria 1 Government Road Kapuskasing, on Check Against Delivery. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour, Ohayo gozaimasu, ciao, hello, kui, shi, kon, ani. Welcome to Canada. It is our pleasure to have you here. Canada is honoured to host this year's G7 Energy and Environment Ministers meeting 50 years after the G7 first came together to confer. Today, the Honourable Eleanor Olszewski, Minister of Emergency Management and Community Resilience and Minister responsible for Prairies Economic Development Canada, the Honourable Tim Hodgson, Minister of Energy and Natural Resources, and the Honourable Mandy Gulmasti, Minister of Indigenous Serve. One of the early investments of Build Canada Homes is $1 billion to build transitional and supportive housing for people who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. It will collaborate with key provincial, territorial, municipal, and Indigenous partners to pair these federal investments with employing. The 16 communities receiving funding through HRI FAIR located in Newfoundland and Labrador, Prince Edward Island, Ontario, and Alberta. The communities are receiving amounts between $100,000 to $1.4 million to implement a range of initiatives that will prevent people from falling into homelessness and AC. Good morning and welcome to Toronto. It is a privilege to welcome you to this year's International Energy Agency Energy Innovation Forum, a gathering of thinkers, doers, and builders shaping the future of energy. Let me begin by thanking Dr. Bairal and the IEA for choosing Canada to host this Forum A. Time 10 a.m. ADT. Location Hudson Room, Debert Hospitality Centre, 130 Ventura Drive, Debert, Nova Scotia, B0M1G0. From Natural Resources Canada and Environment and Climate Change Canada. The G7 was created 50 years ago with the understanding that economic growth and stability and energy security are rooted in international cooperation. Now, the world is confronting evolving energy and environment challenges.